And away from that, advocates of human rights in Nigeria have charged the government and citizens to support and be committed to addressing gender inequality in the country. This appeal was made on Tuesday at a conference to commemorate 2024 United Nations Human Rights Day, organized by Human Rights Research and Educational Center, Hurrec, at the University of Lagos. Details in this report. In commemoration of 2024 United Nations Human Rights Day, with the theme, Our Rights of Future, Human Rights Research and Educational Center, Hurrec, brought these right advocates to the University of Lagos, UNILAG, to shed light on human rights, its entrenchment, and practices with respect.
All right, so the focus is rights, young people especially understanding their rights. So we're looking at children, we're looking at women, we're looking at young people, we're looking at, the demographic across the board. And we're seeing how we can begin to let them understand their basic rights, to preach their basic rights, to push out their basic rights, and most importantly, to get them decent, livelihoods. This is important for human rights. There is no way people can implement human rights without having decent livelihoods. It's impossible.
If we are pushing for human rights, we should know limits of rights, and we should balance those rights. And like I also say, the gender rights, the gender are both male and female. We cannot overstretch one gender in detriment of the other rights. And then I'm talking about equity and equality. And I'm saying that equality can never be attainable. What we should be talking about is equity, to address the social disorder in the system and the gaps in the system. That's why we can have a value-driven society. So Africa needs to come on and prioritize their rights, and then any form of financial aid that can topple away the rights of Africa is no longer a right, it's a left.
We need to enforce the laws so that they will know, parents themselves will know that, look, it's a crime for your child not to be in school. And when these parents suffer the punishment for it, then they will sit up. They will know that, no, these children have to be in school. I discovered in recent times that this issue of children not being in school is not just in the north. Even in where we are now, we call ourselves Center of Excellence. We have a lot of children, being grassroots workers. We've seen that there are a lot of children that are not in school, and the parents are not making any effort in that direction. And I want to say that these children will turn out to be nuisance in the nearest future. And these ones are able-bodied children. Now, if you now want to talk about the physical challenge, it's a whole story.
The speakers also say advancement of human literacy is key, with an appeal that concentration must be on the male child as much as the female child.
The right of every human being is very important. However, there are indications that rights come with responsibility, and I think for me that's a huge take home, because we see a lot of peddling of you have the right to do this, you have the right to do that, but more often than not, we don't speak about the responsibilities that come with this right. So for me, the take home will be to shed more light on the responsibility that comes with each right, each of the 30 rights that has been highlighted.
I was talking about entrenchment of human rights in the Nigerian project. But the issue is that putting it together, we have a lot of people who are smooth talkers. They are not practitioners. So we're trying to make the government, make the elites to be practitioners of what they talk about. Because if you have a maid in the house and you're not treating the maid like you're treating your son or daughter, you've missed human rights. Because in human rights, you must be able to respect the right of the person, protect it, and also remedy when it has been broken. So you see a lot of people have colleagues in the office, they have staff, they have neighbors, they don't respect their rights, they don't treat them like they treat themselves. So I put it together to say, Jesus got it better. He said, treat your neighbor the way you want to be treated. So even
while the take home from this conference is closing the gap between knowing human rights and practicing it, the theme of the conference is a multi-sectoral evaluation of human rights observance in Nigeria, challenges and pathways to progress.
Purpose is to actually recognize and appreciate United Nations Declaration of every 10th day of December of every year as United Nations Human Rights Day. For me, that is something. When I say something, the issue of human rights, that is something we in Nigeria seem to be losing sight of. That individuals have rights, and that when some people exercise rights, it's as if the concept of rights starts and ends with them, not realizing the facts that our rights starts where their own stops.
The most important thing we need to do is find a way to inclusively bring both the male child and the female child up. There is no other way, because they have to be the ones to grow up together, to live together, to produce together. So it has to be equal.
If human rights is indeed the basis of democracy, then the time is right for all to be aware, demand, and practice their human rights rightly with respect as enshrined in the Constitution. Adenike Woye Ajiboye reporting for Superscreen News.